بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Math grade 10 Algebra 2. We are in Model 1 Lesson 6 Special Functions. Special Functions. In this lesson we have three important ideas: write and graph piecewise defined functions, write and graph step functions, and graph and analyze absolute value functions. So I want to from all in a new page, please, to write this title: Special Functions. Special Functions. Don't write anything, just focus with me, please, okay? After you write the title, listen to me very well. This is important, listen. The first idea, just write the title, please. Graphing piecewise defined functions. Graphing piecewise defined functions. So what's the meaning of piecewise defined function? A function that is written using two or more expressions is called a piecewise defined function. So I want to from all just to write this define. Each of expression is defined for a distinct interval of the domain. A dot is used if a point is included in the graph. A circle is used for a point that is not included in the graph. لما نقول piecewise يعني متعدد التعريفات. الفانكشن اللي بيكون متعدد التعريفات. وهذا الفانكشن بيحتوي على اكثر من اكسبريشن. شو بنسميه؟ piecewise. شو بنسميه piecewise؟ piecewise defined function. طيب مثل ايش؟ Listen to this example. Listen to this example. Graph fx. Graph fx. As you see, fx equal x minus 3 if x less than or equal 1, and 2x if x greater than 1. Then analyze the k features. Did you remember the k features? The table, the function, domain, range, decreasing, increasing, externa, positive, negative. Right. As you see, this function equals two expressions. When the function equal more than one expression, the name of this function what? What is the name? Piecewise defined function. If the function include more than one expression, the name of this function what? Piecewise defined function. إذا وقت الفانكشن بيحتوي على أكثر من expression مثل ما شايفين بالمثال، شو بنسميه هذا؟ بنسميه piecewise defined function. تمام؟ طيب هلا انتبهوا للمثال بعدين بنكتبه. بس خلصوا التعريف انتبهوا للمثال. شو المطلوب مني؟ شو عم يقول لي؟ جراف وانالايز. اذا المطلوب مني اني ارسم شو اعمل؟ انالايز يعني حسب الفيتشرز كي او الكي فيتشرز. طيب ستيب 1 جراف اف اكس. اول شيء بالخطوه الاولى راح ارسم الجزء الاول من الفانكشن. راح اخذ الاكسبريشن الاول وبنرسم الجزء الاول من الفراكشن. How to graph fx equal x minus 3 for x less than or equal 1. As you see, the value of x less than or equal 1 means equal 1. If you substitute the value of x equal 1 inside this expression, you will get the value of x. Means you will get the value of y. So take the function fx equal x minus 3, then put the value of x1. 1 minus 3 will be minus 2. So we have the point now 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2. Write with me. You can write with me this example. Then you have dot. Dot means closed circle. What's the meaning of dot? Closed circle. دائرة مغلقة. ليش أنا اخترت دوت هون؟ لأنه في عندي بالإشارة equal. وتكون في عندي بالإشارة equal نرسم دوت. دوت شو يعني؟ دائرة مغلقة. دائرة مغلقة. طيب. الخطوة الثانية how to graph fx equal to x when x greater than 1. We can choose the value of x1 and substitute the value here. If x equal 1, if x equal 2 times 1. 2 times 1 means 2. So now the point will be what? Will be 1.2, but here graph circle. What's the meaning of circle? Without shaded. دائرة مفتوحة يعني. Why? Because we don't have in the sign equal here. We don't have in the sign equal here. طيب, as you see, this is the graph. هلا, the first point here, 1, -2. 1 in x, -2 in y. This is 1 in x, -2 in y, and here draw or graph dot. Dot means shaded circle or closed circle. Then, as you see here, the second point, we have 1, 2. 1 in the x, 2 in the y, but draw here circle. Circle means without shaded. Why? Because we don't have equal here. Okay? So I want from all now to write the example, then draw the graph. So this is the first idea in this lesson, how to graph a piecewise defined function. We can graph the first expression, then we can graph the second expression. Yes, it's important to know how to do the graphing in this case. Who can tell me why we graphed here to the right and why we graph here to the left? Negative what? We use the slope to determine the direction. We use the slope to determine the direction. As you see here in the first case, x less than or equal 1. So graph the linear function with a slope of 1. As you see here, the slope will be 1. And to the left of dot. To the left of, this is the dot. To the left of dot 1. And in the second case, the slope equal 2, because here we have 2. And to the right, the circle. To the right, the circle, because x greater than. X greater than. But here x less than. because here x less than to the left, and here x greater than means to the right. Okay. Huh? So the first step and the second step for the graph. What about the analyze? What about the analyze? عادي. نعم. Hey. Okay. The third step, analyze key features. We want you to use key features to analyze the graph. Right. The function is defined for all values of x. For all values of x. So the domain is all real numbers. Is all real numbers. And the range is all real numbers less than or equal -2. As we see here, -2, and the direction where to the negative infinity means less than or equal -2. And all real numbers greater than 2, or real number greater than 2. This can be represented symbolically as, we can write it, uses fx such as fx less than or equal to, or fx greater than 2. So the third step is important, and the y-intercept is -3. As you see here, y-intercept in this point, we have -3. And no x-intercept, as you see, no x-intercept. So the function is increasing for all values of x, for all values fx. So please, I want to from on to write step 3. ما بعرف والله شو رقم الصفحة، مكتوب 47 رقم الصفحة 47 48. سؤالك إذا مطابقة للكتاب عندك مطابقة نفسها؟ Listen here to the second example, but don't write this example, please, but just listen. Who can tell me what is the name of this graph, of this function? What is the name of this function? As you see here, fx equal 2 over 3x, and fx equal 3, and fx equal negative 2x plus 5. Who can tell me what is the name of this function? Excellent. Why? Because the function is have three expressions. Okay. طيب. Always the values of x represent the domain, and the values of y represent what? The range. So as you see here the domain is x such as x less than 2. This is the first one. Then x greater than or equal 1 and less than or equal to, the second one here, as we see, and or x greater than 4. This is the domain. And the range from where? From the graph. After you graph the function here, as you see, we have fx such as fx less than or equal 0. Like this. Or fx equal 3. And the x-intercept 0. And the y-intercept also 0. And for x such as x less than or equal 0, the function is what? Is increasing. And the function here constant. And the function here decreasing. Done? خلصنا كتابة؟ طبعا بس تكتبوا لي الحالة الثالثة، المثال الثاني ما بدنا نكتبه لأنه كتبنا واحد مشابه له. طيب. The second idea in this lesson, write please this title, graphing step functions. A common type of piecewise function is a step function. So what's the meaning of a step function? Has a graph that is a series of horizontal line segment that may resemble a staircase. As you see here, we have segment. This is the meaning of a step function. So write just the define, please. A step function, then graph the example here. A step function is defined by a set of constant functions. The domain of a step function is an interval or of real numbers. The range of a step function is a discrete set of real numbers. The graph of a step function is discontinuous because it cannot be drawn without lifting your pencil. just write the define here and graph this example, please. A new idea in this lesson, a greatest integer function. Greatest integer function. What's the meaning of the greatest integer function? Written fx like this sign. When you see this sign, means greatest integers function is one kind of step function in which fx is the greatest integer less than or equal to x. For example, هلا وقت نشوف هي الساين هاد شو بنقرا هذا الساين؟ greatest integer function. تمام؟ طيب شو داخل الساين؟ 10.7. شو باخذ اقل قيمه اقرب لها؟ شو باخذ؟ اقل قيمه اقرب لها. طيب 10.7 شو اقل قيمه اقرب لها صحيحه؟ 10 صح؟ لذلك وقت بنشوف هذا القوس او هي الاشاره 10.7 شو بنكتبها 10. طيب نيجاتيف 6.35 حطينا عليها الجريتست انتجر فانكشن. شو اقل قيمه اقرب لها؟ النيجاتيف 7 صح؟ النيجاتيف 7 طبعا تكون يعني اصغر قيمه اقرب لها. اصغر قيمه اقرب لها. طيب الانتجر لل5 الجريتست انتجر فانكشن لل5 شو هي؟ 5 نفسها. واضح؟ طيب الان هذا التعريف هذا مهم لانه مصطلح جديد، كمان يا ريت تكتبوا لنا اياه مع الامثله. نعم. Here we have a question. Who can answer me? Explain why the value of the greatest integer function 4.3 is 4, but the value of the greatest integer function negative 4.3 will be negative 5. Who can answer me here? Why here we choose 4 and why here we choose negative 5? Who can answer me? Excellent. Excellent. Because negative 5, the smallest value nearest to the 4.3, and 4, the smallest value nearest to the 4.3. Excellent. Finished? بسرعة شوي. طيب. The last idea or the third idea in this lesson, graphing absolute value functions. So I want to from all to write this title, please. Graphing absolute value function. What's the meaning of an absolute value function? Is a function that contains an algebraic expression within absolute value symbols. It can be defined and graphed as a piecewise function. So for an absolute value function, fx equal absolute value of x is the parent function, which is the simplest of the function in family. So I want from all to write the define of an absolute value function. علي صوتك شوي. ايوه نرسم لي بالازرق، اكتب لي بالازرق. كتبنا العنوان وتعريف الابسوليت فاليو فانكشن. طيب مرق معي هلا مفهوم جديد اللي هو البيرنت فانكشن. شو يعني البيرنت فانكشن؟ لاحظوا هلا الاف اكس ايكوال ابسوليت فاليو للاكس، اف اكس ايكوال اكس، اف اكس ايكوال نيجاتيف اكس. هذا التعريف لمين؟ تعريف للابسوليت فاليو. نحن بنعرف انه الابسوليت فاليو تحافظ على البوزيتيف وتقلب النيجاتيف الى بوزيتيف، صحيح؟ معناتها انا اذا بدي اعرفه الاف اكس للابسوليت فاليو اوف اكس هو عباره عن ايش؟ عن فرعين. اف اكس equal x when x greater than or equal 0 and f x equal negative x if x less than 0. طيب what is the domain؟ هلا when you see x greater than or equal 0 and x less than 0 means all real numbers. What is the range? All non-negative real number because we have absolute value, just the positive numbers. And the intercepts x equals 0 and y equals 0. I want from all to graph here. This is this graph for the absolute value function, and write please this table. This is the last idea in this lesson. Yes. ونرسل الجراف طبعا الرسم. Done. Right. Listen to this example, please. Graph an absolute value function, positive coefficient. As you see, we have fx equal absolute value of 3 over 4x plus 3. State the domain and range. Right. What I do to graph, always when you want to graph any absolute value, create table. Create table. The first column here for the values of x, you can choose any randomly values here. For example, -4, -2, 0, 2, 4. Then substitute the values inside the function. And for example here, if you choose -4, the function will be 3 over 4 times -4 between the absolute value plus 3. The answer will be what? Will be 6. Means the first point, -4 in the x, -1, -2, -3, -4, and 6. The first point will be here. Then draw the all points, then match between them. You will get the graph of the absolute value function. And always have the same graph, like this. Then how to state the domain and the range? How to state? The function is defined for all values of x, because we have all x. Means the domain is the all real numbers. Right. How to state the range? The function is defined only for the values of x, such as that if x greater than or equal to 3. As you see, the values of x start from where? From 3 and up. From 3 and up. So the range will be if x greater than or equal to 3, or we can write fx such as fx greater than or equal to 3. Okay? Okay? Who has any question about this lesson? No questions? Clear for all? Okay. Right. I will send to you today, inshallah, a homework. This is the homework. And tomorrow, inshallah, we will check together. And if you have any question, you can ask me tomorrow, inshallah, okay? So this is our period for today. Thank you for your listening. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.